You ever feel like a relationship is fine on paper, but the room got colder anyway? No big fight, no dramatic betrayal, just a few quiet moments, a late reply, a promise that stayed vague, a half-listened sentence, a little defensiveness, and then suddenly the connection feels thinner than it used to. That is the strange part. Trust usually does not disappear in one crash. It drains in small withdrawals nobody names. So if you have been wondering, am I overthinking this or is something actually shifting? This video will help you spot the leak before it spreads. Not the loud kind, the quiet kind, the kind that changes a relationship before anyone admits it. And stay with me, because near the end, I want to give you a simple trust audit. It can show you exactly where the damage is happening and what to deposit instead. The thesis is simple. Trust is not lost all at once. It leaks through repeated small behaviors, and it can be rebuilt through repeated small proofs. Section 1. Keep the small promises. This is where trust often starts to thin out. Not with betrayal, with little things. You say you will call back, and you forget. You say you will fix the shelf, answer the email, take out the trash, and it slips again. On its own, one miss feels harmless. But people do not only hear the task, they hear the pattern. So the replacement is simple. Make fewer vague promises and only the ones you can actually keep. If you are not sure, say, I can probably do that by Thursday. Not I will take care of it. Why does this work? Because trust grows when your sentence and your behavior line up. When someone learns your word is steady, they stop bracing for disappointment. That is the first deposit. Clear words, followed by clean action. It sounds small. It changes the whole temperature. Section 2. Do not spend someone's name carelessly. A lot of trust leaks through side conversations. The little complaint to a coworker, the joke that was really a private criticism, the text thread where someone becomes a topic instead of a person. Even subtle gossip sends a message. If you talk about them when they are not there, will you protect them when they are? The replacement deposit is directness or silence. If something is real, useful, and fair, say it to the person. If it is not, let it stay private. That does not mean pretending nothing bothers you. It means choosing honesty over performance. Why does this work? Because people feel safer when they know your loyalty does not split the second the conversation gets interesting. Safety is not built by perfect words. It is built by being the same person in and out of the room. That is the second deposit. Quiet loyalty, no audience needed. Section 3. Put the phone down for real presence. Half listening is one of the fastest ways to make someone feel small. You know the scene. Dinner at the table, the phone in your hand. Someone is trying to tell you about their day, and you are nodding, but only halfway there. Your eyes keep dropping. Your mind keeps wandering. They notice. Always. The replacement is not some grand speech. It is a few honest minutes of full presence. Put the phone face down. Look at them. Let the first part of the conversation belong to them fully. Why does this work? Because people calm down when they feel met, not managed. They open up when they are not competing with a screen. And the emotional payoff is immediate. The room stops feeling split. The person in front of you starts to feel like the most important thing in it. Section 4. Apologize without defending yourself. This one is harder than it sounds. A lot of apologies secretly come with a shield. Sorry, but I was tired. Sorry, but you also did this. Sorry if you felt that way. The problem is, the other person now has to argue with your apology before they can even hear it. That is not repair. That is negotiation. The replacement deposit is clean ownership. I missed that. I see why that hurt you. I should have handled it differently. No long speech, no self-protection, just enough honesty to make the other person feel safe again. Why does this work? Because trust does not recover when people win the argument. It recovers when they feel understood. A clean apology lowers the temperature. It makes room for healing instead of debate. And sometimes that one shift matters more than anything else you could say. Section 5. Stop feeding resentment in the dark. This one is delicate because forgiveness is not a switch. You do not force it, you do not fake it, and you do not rush past something that was genuinely painful. But there is a difference between honest hurt and hidden bitterness. When every old injury stays active, the room gets frozen. People can feel it. Even when nobody is speaking, the air remembers. The replacement is not instant closeness. It may be a small step toward release, a pause before repeating the story in your head, a quiet decision not to rehearse the offense all night, a conversation when the timing is right. Why does this work? Because resentment keeps collecting interest. It turns a temporary wound into a permanent filter. But when you loosen your grip even a little, the relationship gets a chance to move again. That is often where warmth starts coming back. Midway through, here is the deeper truth. Trust is not only a feeling, it is a daily environment. You build that environment with repeated behavior. The tone you use in the kitchen, the way you answer a hard question, whether your attention is here or somewhere else, whether your actions are predictable enough to feel safe. So do not only ask, what kind of person am I? Ask, what kind of atmosphere am I creating? Because one thoughtful conversation can help, but 10 reactive moments can undo it. This is why trust feels so sensitive. Not because people are looking for perfection, but because they are always reading the pattern. Section 6. Make one visible deposit before the day ends. If you want to rebuild trust, do not wait for the perfect talk. Do one believable thing. Wash the dish you promised. Send the honest text. Put the phone away during dinner. Write the note. Follow through on the one thing that has been hanging there. Small visible actions matter because they are easier to believe than big emotional statements. Anyone can say, I care. But when people see care repeated in real life, their body starts to believe it. Why does this work? Because trust is not rebuilt by one grand moment. It comes back when behavior becomes safe enough to relax around. And this is the overlooked part. One visible deposit often does more than a perfect explanation. It proves the future is not going to look exactly like the past. So if your relationship feels tense, do not only ask what went wrong, ask what is being repeated. That question changes everything. Here is the trust audit. Take one relationship this week, maybe at home, maybe at work, maybe with the person you have been avoiding a little. Ask yourself 3 things. Where am I withdrawing trust without meaning to? What is the smallest leak? And what is one deposit I can make today? Not 5. 1. Because the goal is not perfection, it is awareness. And awareness is often the first moment a pattern loses its power. If you think about it long enough, most lives are shaped this way. Not by one huge speech, not by one dramatic day, but by the ordinary things repeated again and again. And from far away, your future self will not remember every perfect explanation. They will remember whether you kept making the kind of choices that made people feel safe around you. So ask yourself honestly, if your 80-year-old self could watch this week play out, what would they tell you to stop withdrawing? And what would they tell you to start depositing? That is the real shift. One believable action, repeated long enough, becomes safety. What is one trust deposit you have been meaning to make, but have not made yet? If this helped you see one relationship differently, sit with that for a minute. And if you want, start with the smallest honest deposit you can make today.